I've been asked the question, what does a plastic-free ocean mean to me? For me, it's essential. I think that we really don't actually really fully understand the negative impact that our daily choices have made on the environment in the last 20 years or more. Plastic is an incredible thing. It's durable. It lasts forever. Every single piece of plastic ever made is still in this world today in some shape or form, which is actually quite mind staggering to think about. So it saves lives. We use it every day on in our cell phones, in some of the cooking utensils that we use in our cars to get to work. We've got plastic credit cards. We're wearing it in half our clothes. We really cannot escape it. And we're now starting to realize the negative implications of that plastic in the world today and trying to sort of reverse what we've done. So there's a lot more awareness around the clothes that we wear, the food that we buy, how we package our food, how we dispose of our packaging, what that looks like. And it's been an incredible journey for me personally to learn all of these things. I mean, growing up, I always used to recycle and I used to win recycling competitions, but I never really thought very hard about where does my rubbish go to? What happens to that recycling when it's recycled? What are the impacts of that? And so it's been a very interesting journey for me learning that process and starting to realize how small things that I've done my whole life are actually really detrimental to the environment. From the clothes that I wear and the clothes that I choose to buy, to the food that I eat and how I buy that food in terms of its packaging, to brushing my teeth and the toothpaste that I use. And so over the last couple of years, I've actively tried to change my behavior to be a lot more environmentally sustainable, and specifically single use plastic free. And saying single use plastic means for me single use anything. So replacing a plastic straw with a paper straw, a plastic bag with a paper bag, or single use for single use. It's changing that whole mindset of going back to actually using what you have, reusing it until you cannot anymore, and then when you really have no more use for that item, to dispose of it correctly. And so for me, that journey's still ongoing, and I definitely don't get it right, and time gets in the way. But the things that I've done to change my behavior are switching to a bamboo toothbrush. I also have an electric toothbrush that I use occasionally, but the bamboo toothbrush is definitely one thing that I've done and switched to. I've tried the charcoal toothpaste, and I'm seeing how that works for me and my teeth. I don't think my dentist is too happy with that. I've got a soap bar, which is a shampoo bar that I use for my hair and my body, so I don't buy plastic-based packaging in my soap and things like that. The face creams that I buy get locally made and produced down the coast in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. That's in little glass, reusable, or aluminium jars. We have collaborated with that same organization called the Green Fairy to create a sun cream that is more sustainable and environmentally friendly and reef friendly, using all natural products. Some of it's even vegan friendly. And that sun cream was developed because of a challenge that I put out to find a sun cream that could work for 24 hours in salt water to prevent me from burning my face and my skin. And that was very effective in my swim against plastic. And so we have used that sun cream on every swim I do since it's been developed, and it's worked really well for me in the water. So that's a brand that you can look out for called Green Honu. Um, Other things that I've done is I have chosen where to shop. I try and shop locally for my fruit and vegetables. I go to a sort of a wholesale fruit and veg place. I take my own little bags. I put everything in a box, and I buy it all loose so that it's not pre-packaged where possible. Some stuff I still can't get that is not packaged, but as much as possible, I'm buying fresh, locally produced seasonal fruit and vegetables from an incredible local producer and supplier here in Durban. I go to the refill den for my dry goods, for my my spices and my salts and my pasta and my popcorn, and seeds and nuts and all of those things. I take my own jars and I refill them where possible. In terms of cheese, there's a dairy down the road where I can take my own Tupperware, get my cheese and my butter in there. I don't do that all the time, but I do try. So those are the things that I have done to change my behavior. I haven't recently bought clothes, but going forward, I'm looking at only buying locally, ideally locally produced clothes, or and more sustainable produce clothes, whether it's made of hemp, bamboo, or pure cotton, depending on where it comes from. Those are the things that I'm looking at when I'm purchasing stuff. I try not to buy things unless I need it. I try and make the most of a trip when I'm in my car so that I don't go there and then back and then there and back. I try and do everything en route so that I'm not making unnecessary trips. But no, I'm not perfect. I've flown a lot in the last year, which I know contributes significantly to global warming. I still buy chocolates and Easter eggs and things that are packaged in things that can't be recycled. And for now, I'm eco-bricking it. I'm putting it in a bottle, plastic bottle, and stuffing it full. And then that goes to local places where they build shelters and things with it and roads, which I know is not sustainable or necessarily even better for the environment. But for me and for now, that's better than going into the landfill or into the ocean. When I swim, I pick up anything I swim into and I stuff it into my costume. I've picked up bits of fridge before and had like a piece of fridge like this big, which I've swum back and kicked the rest of the session with. I've had a piece of thick canvas that I've connected that I've tied onto the back of my costume and had a drag session all the way back home for like 2 kilometers of swimming. So my general philosophy is if I see it in the sea, I pick it up and I don't leave the sea without taking it out the sea if possible. And I've had some really interesting things that I've seen and picked up along the way. When I leave the beach, I generally try and pick up 1 or 2 things that I can carry on top of what I've collected in the ocean and throw it away when I get up to the top. And those are small things and they seem insignificant, but I know that if everybody who did that, who goes to the beach or goes for a run or goes for a cycle, if you walk down the road and you see litter, pick it up, throw it away. Don't just leave it for someone else to pick up, because that someone else is you and it's me. And so that's what I do, and that's what I'm doing to try and walk the talk, to try and be authentic, and also just to try and do my bit for a plastic-free ocean. That's how I'm living deeply and treading lightly. I'm following my passions, I'm living my dream, and I'm really privileged that I get to do what I love in terms of my work as a physiotherapist, working with sports people and active people and helping people get better, in my work as a Pilates instructor, just encouraging people to push themselves physically, and in my work as an activist and environmentalist, speaking to people, motivating people, and in trying to inspire change. It's a huge privilege for me to speak at schools, to speak to big groups of people. I've been incredibly motivated in my life by people like Lewis Pugh, Penny Haynes, Lynn Cox, Diana Nyad, sporting icons in their field. And if I can be that for someone else, it's a huge privilege for me. And so and the big thing that I'm really, really privileged is that I've got an incredible team around me that have given their time and expertise to enable me to do what I do in terms of the swims that I pioneer around the world. And those people are people from biokineticists, physios, my work colleagues, my doctors. I work very closely with a sports homeopath, psychologist, nutritionist. I see a nutritionist every 6 weeks to just check on my body fat and everything and check that we're on the right track to maintain and up it or decrease it according to whatever swimmer that I'm doing. And obviously the friends and family that are around me that enable me to do what I do. I pay very little rent where I work, where I live, so that I can spend half my days working on Breathe and the other half working as a physio, treating people to pay the bills. But then I get to do Breathe stuff and stuff that I love in between that. So I'm really, really privileged to do what I do and to live deeply and tread lightly. And I hope that in this journey with Footprint that we can inspire you to continue to do your bit. Like Footprint are being innovative in their field, and I'm swimming using my talents and dreams, so can you do whatever you love, and use that for good, use that for an environmental platform. It doesn't have to be environmental, it could be helping poor people get food on the table, it could be in health, it could be in anything. But I think for me, what living deeply, treading lightly really means following your passion and just being aware of the people and the environment around you in the process of doing that, and trying to just see the good in people and see the good in things. One of the big things that allows me to do what I do is my faith. I'm a Christian. I believe in God and Jesus, and that's a huge inspiration and a huge driving factor into what I do and to why I do what I do. I do everything I do so that when I do die one day, I'm dying empty of potential. I don't want to leave things wasted. I want to use everything I do for the glory of God who gave it to me and who created this world. And I believe He's created an incredible earth that we are called to look after and steward. And that's what I'm trying to do in the way that I can do it best. And it looks different for everybody. And I think that's what inspires me to live deeply and tread lightly more than anything else, is my faith, and then the people around me that help me to achieve that. So team is really important to me as well. If you want to know more about Breathe, you can check out our website on www.breatheconservation.org. And you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter on Breathe Ocean 1. It's a number 1. And we look forward to hearing from you. We've also got a YouTube channel called Breathe Conservation you can follow, and you can see lots of tips on open water swimming, on nutrition, on how to survive COVID, what to do in the lockdown, and various other things. So we look forward to seeing you on that channel.